the long-anticipated The Batman.
Matt Reeves is directing the latest installment, and with so many Batman movies already out there, the burning question right off the bat is, could they do anything different with this character?
This time around, we see Batman as the detective. He is in the field trying to solve a string of murders with Commissioner Gordon that's very reminiscent of more like horror movies like Seven or Zodiac.
I saw somebody online say this after I came out. This is the best David Fincher movie David Fincher didn't direct.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate, man. There's a lot of homage in this film. I also noticed hints of Saw and even The Watchmen a little bit with Batman's voiceover narration in the beginning.
There's so much to like here. Let's start with the tone of the movie. This is the darkest Batman we have ever seen. And we've seen Batman be quite dark before.
Sure.
But wow. I mean, right from the first 5 minutes of the movie, you know what you are in for. This is a neo-noir, dark tale of Batman. He is vengeance, and I loved it.
It's a perfect balance between the campiness of the Tim Burton films and the gritty realism of the Christopher Nolan films. This one finds that happy medium. Definitely leaning more toward the Christopher Nolan side. This is a very grounded Batman, but one that still has a little bit of fun despite all that dark grittiness.
Yes, and the cinematography, fantastic, but we also got to give credit to Batman's presence.
Yeah.
You could feel him around, and he even says a line in the early part in the movie. The criminals fear him because he may be in the shadows. He says, he is the shadows.
I am the shadows.
There's a presence about Batman that we fear, and I don't think we've quite feared Batman this way ever before.
Yeah, he's intimidating. He's just like, when he's in the room, you know he's in the room. Another thing we really got to mention, right, is the score.
Oh, yeah.
This movie sounds amazing. The music here from Michael Giacchino is spot on. The use of the Nirvana song, Something in the Way, it's just, it's perfect. There's almost like an Imperial March sound to the Batman theme, and each character has a theme that each one keeps getting a little better than the next one. The music here is awesome.
It is. And we mentioned this is a detective story, but we had never really seen Batman be this great detective before, at least not in movies. And this time we actually get to see him solving the riddles from the Riddler and doing the investigation work with his pal, Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, that's such a cool relationship. There's really almost a buddy cop aspect to it. Almost kind of like a Batman and Robin thing they got going on, you know? Mm-hmm. Where they're like running in step together. It just works. And the other main relationship in the film is another banger that just works. Robert Pattinson and Zoë Kravitz have a chemistry on screen. She plays Catwoman in this film, and I loved her in every scene she was in.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a sexy relationship. They play off each other extremely well, and she comes off as a character that really could beat people up. And I mean, very acrobatic, tough, confident character. I loved her as Catwoman.
Speaking of cool things that we loved in this movie, we've got to talk about the Batmobile.
Oh my God, the Batmobile was awesome.
Yeah. So if you can go see this in a Dolby Atmos theater, I highly encourage it. You want to feel that bass rumbling. When the Batmobile finally fires up and you see it coming out of the shadows, it was honestly almost like a goosebump moment for me.
It really was. And the ensuing chase, I got to see it a second time. I've only seen it once, but this is on the level of Matrix Reloaded, that highway chase scene. I mean, it was adrenaline. The Batmobile is roaring, and we get an unbelievable action sequence that ends with the upside down shot that we've seen in the trailer of Batman with the flames and the cape going. Literally was an applause-worthy moment. Fantastic.
Yeah, honestly, even though we've seen parts of this in the trailer, you ain't seen nothing. You've got to see this entire chase sequence to believe it. You compared it to The Matrix. I would say it's better than The Matrix highway sequence because that one hasn't aged. You can see the edges of the CGI. If this wasn't done practically, the CGI is seamless.
Of course, we always talk about Heath Ledger's Joker as top tier. What did you think of Paul Dano's take on the Riddler?
I loved it. In fact, when we finally see the Riddler's face without the mask, the expression, I was about to say the emotion he puts through is just deranged. Mm-hmm. You can sense his insanity just from his facial expressions. Paul Dano is a fantastic actor, and the Riddler in this movie is downright scary, probably the scariest Batman villain we've seen.
And I want to give a lot of credit to Paul Dano. I think his performance was great, but also kudos to director Matt Reeves for showcasing the Riddler in these FaceTime videos where it's just half of his face right into the camera. It was unsettling how aggressive he was as a villain. I loved it. I loved the Riddler. He's probably my second favorite villain of all time.
Yeah, the villain here is just fantastic. I mean, there's a lot to say about it.
And we should mention the rest of the cast. I mean, we mentioned Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon, fantastic. Paul Dano as the Riddler, wonderful. But we also get a John Turturro as a mobster, wonderful.
And the surprise of the movie, at least for me, was Colin Farrell as the Penguin. Like, I remember reading that a long time ago, Colin Farrell's going to be the Penguin, but I forgot it. And I went to this movie not knowing it was him, and I didn't really remember it until I got home. I'm like, oh man, that was Colin Farrell. It was bugging me the whole time. He's unrecognizable in a very good way.
A lot of times when you see a runtime that's almost 3 hours, I cringe, but this movie earned the 3-hour runtime. I was entertained through the entire thing from start to finish. This is clearly one of the best movies of 2022 to come out, and might be at the end of the year on some top 10 lists as well.
Yeah, if you're a fan of Batman, especially the more detective story stuff, like maybe The Long Halloween, you should check this one out. If you like the Nolan films but wanted a little bit of that flavor from the Burton stuff, this might just be the sweet spot. What do you guys think? Did we get it right? Did you love the Batman? Did you hate it? Let us know in the comments down below. And hey, before you go, check out this video because we think you'll like it.
Holy YouTube, Batman.